Today we are here at the Will Rogers Garden Center, and joining me is Michael Kowalchyk, who is the president of the Oklahoma Iris Society. And Michael, this is the best time to be here, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We got some beautiful irises blooming all around us.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about how this garden got started and your involvement with the society.
All right, so we've had this garden for decades and decades, and it's expanded beyond compare. And we actually have more projects coming up. So right now we have over 700 types of irises here, different varieties. We have the little ones, the medians, the tall beardeds, and then we have the spurias over there, which are the beardless irises. So we have a huge variety. So how I got involved with the society was, it was when my grandparents brought me in a baby stroller to the meetings, and I've been stuck going ever since. And my grandma tells me if I wasn't there, she wasn't there.
Oh.
So I became really active in the last couple of years. I was the vice president for several years and the treasurer, and now I'm the president.
That's awesome.
We just had our Iris Festival last weekend, which is a huge success. It was a wonderful event.
Well, this is a lovely garden for homeowners to come walk through and see kind of what maybe their style of iris that they're looking for. Let's talk a little bit about some of the different features of irises and what we can see here.
Oh, absolutely. So we have, we have so many different colors of irises. That one over there is called a bicolor, the pink and white.
So you think that's what maybe people look for first, is the color or
yes,
the
they
smell?
look for the color, definitely for the color.
Okay.
Black and dark purple irises are definitely everyone's favorite.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I guess the fragrance, I don't really notice the fragrance until I take it home and cut it. So.
And you mentioned there's different heights, right? So you've got miniatures, mids, and tall.
Yeah.
And then also like the blooming time, right?
Yeah. So our miniatures start about mid-March. They're called miniature dwarf beardeds, and then it's the standard dwarf beardeds that follow those. Those are considered medians. They have miniature tall beardeds, intermediate bearded irises, border bearded irises, and then you're here to the tall bearded irises.
Okay.
And then after the tall bearded irises, it's our beardless irises.
So it's nice to get a good mix to really extend that iris blooming season?
Yes, you need to get a good variety of heights and different types.
All right. So we've had some crazy winter, rain, no rain first. How has that affected our irises?
It's prevented a lot of them from blooming, especially when we have those late hard frosts. You may not even know that the buds or the stalks are there, but they're forming inside the plant, and if it's just a hard enough freeze, it'll take it out. It's an unfortunate game that we have to play with these early springs. And of course, the drought isn't helping the situation either.
Right. So some of them are probably a little behind on blooming, or may not bloom like you're used to seeing them. Yeah,
we're a little bit behind. It's actually really interesting. We started the season pretty early, and then with all the freezes and rain and cold weather, we're actually a little bit behind now.
Okay, all right. But it's still lovely to come out here, and I honestly love seeing some of the names. They're very creative with their names that they have. If I came through here and I saw that there was one that maybe really I was drawn to, do I find these in catalogs, or how could somebody go about finding some of these?
So the best way is to come through the garden and write down your favorites and bring them to the iris sale that we have in September. This year will be the 22nd and 23rd up at the Will Rogers Garden Exhibition Center.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we dig from this garden. That's our main source of rhizomes for the sale.
Okay.
So there's a good chance it'll be in there.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Yeah. Well, speaking of dividing, I know we typically divide later in the season.
Yes.
August, September.
Yes.
What's some maintenance that we need to be doing right now with our irises?
So right now, you need to make sure that they're not having wet feet. That's a big problem with the spring and the summer. If they get too wet, they'll rot.
Okay.
Which, you know how those high, like a couple summers ago, we had those high humid, high heat.
Right.
That's a bad situation for irises.
Okay.
They just don't like wet feet. So that's important to keep in mind.
Okay, so plant them high.
Yes. So let's see, I think if I can find one. So right here, you can barely see that the top of the rhizome.
Oh, right. Okay.
So you just want to barely plant them underneath the surface. You don't even have to plant them under the surface.
Okay. So plant them high to prevent rotting is important.
Yes.
What about fertilizer?
So it's good to use like a balanced 10-10-10 fertilizer on irises. So I usually put mine down on Valentine's Day.
Oh,
and then about a month after they bloom.
okay. And
so
then
maybe about mid-June, late June.
And then after that, kind of let them be.
Let them be, and let them go dormant if they go dormant, because a lot of times in our weather they will kind of shrink down and they'll look a little bit sad. But if they're tough, they'll make it through.
Right.
Which irises are about the toughest perennial out there, I think.
Yeah. And of course, when they do stop blooming, you can go ahead and trim the stem out, but we want to leave the flags, right?
Yes, we want to leave the leaves.
Okay, the leaves. Okay, all right.
Yep.
And then what about as we go into, there are some reblooming irises, so when do we divide those up?
So you can divide them at the same time as regular irises.
Okay.
So the start of that period is actually just a month after bloom season.
Okay.
So late June and July is when some people start. I preferably do it in September when it's not a million degrees outside.
Understand, yeah.
That's my preference. And so a lot of them, well, if they're rebloomers, the hybridizer will indicate because they've evaluated them for several years. If they rebloom there, it's not a guarantee they'll rebloom here, but it'll usually happen in the fall.
All right. Well, and you're a judge, right?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit, what is it that you're looking for when you're judging, and do you have any favorites out here?
Yeah, so I'm an American Iris Society garden exhibition judge. So I'm looking for the showstoppers in the garden.
Okay.
Things that I can see from across the garden. They call that distinctiveness. Like I can see that one over there called color capers all the way from across the garden.
All right. So things that grab your attention. All right. What else?
You want them to be blooming above the foliage, so you don't have to bend down really to look at them.
Okay.
You also want them to have a good increase on them, so have a lot of babies on them.
How much should they increase in a year?
Well, some increase as little as maybe 2, but the best ones increase 5 or 6.
Oh, really?
Have 5 or 6 babies on them.
So is it true that you kind of see a circle start to form when they start getting bigger?
Yeah, you kind of see that. See that in these right here.
Okay.
So it starts from, this is the mother rhizome right here. That's how you tell. The mother rhizome is always the one with the stalk on it.
Oh, okay.
So after this season, it's done its job, so it will die.
Oh.
But it has a bunch of babies on it. So the plant lives on.
Okay.
And grows and spreads even more.
Well, any other favorites you have?
Oh, I have a Beautician over there. That's a really beautiful pink one. We have our Spirea irises that are just bloomed today. It's hard to pick a favorite.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Michael, for sharing this information with us. And I know that you guys and your society and Master Gardeners, there's a lot of volunteers that help take care of this garden.
Yes.
And we appreciate it because it's a showpiece here for Oklahoma City.
Yes, it is. It's one of the premier display gardens in the Midwest, in the southern U.S.
And it's free for people to come in and see it. Yes,
absolutely. It's actually the most busiest during the weekdays during lunch hour. A lot of people come here on their lunch breaks and tour the garden. It's a beautiful place in Oklahoma City.
And Michael, how can people get more information if they're interested in your society?
So they can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, or look at our website.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Of course, my pleasure.
We hope you enjoyed this video as part of our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. You can also find even more videos on the OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.